Hello everyone, in this video we will talk about plastering the walls, or in another way about preparing the walls before gluing them with wallpaper or for painting them. The application of a finishing layer of putty on the walls is the most important operation, the guarantee of which is an excellent quality result for further work, such as painting or wallpapering the walls. Without proper preparation of the walls, various difficulties can arise during the subsequent pasting of wallpaper, such as partial or complete peeling of wallpaper, divergence of wallpaper seams or the impossibility of normal joining of wallpaper canvases, protruding bulges and concavities of the walls giving shadows and glare on the pasted wallpaper. When painting, the surface of the wall, in general, should be perfect, since a thin coating of paint is unable to hide any defects, on the contrary, emphasizing and revealing them even more. Walls with strong deviations are subject to preliminary plastering, the complexity of which depends on the unevenness of the walls themselves. Walls with a slope or strong defects are leveled with plaster along the beacons, while walls with minor irregularities, porous with small, local, defects can be leveled by applying a thin leveling plaster layer. You can learn more about plastering walls on installed beacons, as well as about the method of applying a light leveling layer using gypsum plaster, from my other videos, links to which you will find in the description of this video. The plaster layer is applied where defects and deviations of the walls cannot be covered with a putty, the permissible thickness of which is too small for this. To putty the walls, use a spatula, one of which is narrow and the second wide, the width of which depends on the specifics of the putty surface. For example, in cramped conditions and narrow spaces, it is more convenient to work with a not too wide trowel. It is much more convenient to putty on large surfaces with a wider spatula, thanks to which you make fewer movements, and there are fewer marks and transitions from the tool on the wall. When working with a wide spatula, more physical effort and skill is required. To prepare the walls for wallpapering, it is enough to apply 2 layers of water-soluble polymer putty. Why 2 layers? Everything is very simple. As a rule, the first layer of putty is applied with a thicker, leveling layer, and it may not lie quite evenly. After applying the first layer, risks and cavities may remain on the porous wall. The first layer of putty is made in order to maximize the leveling of the surface. If you do not have enough experience, then after applying the first layer, significant irregularities may remain on the surface of the walls, which are best removed before applying the second layer. In such a situation, the unevenness must be sanded with a bar with sandpaper or a sanding mesh. If the walls were sanded, then before applying the second layer of putty, it is advisable to remove dust from the wall surface by applying a layer of primer. The second layer of putty is applied already on a homogeneous surface and in a thinner layer, due to which the putty surface of the wall becomes even and smooth. The second layer can be applied thinly, thereby achieving a perfectly even and thin layer without transitions and marks from the spatula. After applying the second layer of putty, it is necessary to visually inspect the walls. The remaining defects must be sanded with a bar with sandpaper. It is possible to quickly identify defects from plastering on the wall using a directional bright light, installing the lamp as close to the wall as possible and directing the light from the lamp along the wall. Irregularities, if any, will immediately become noticeable. They will cast a shadow on the wall. In some cases, it may be necessary to reapply the putty in specific places, after which dry, these places are sanded, and the entire wall is treated with primer, after which it becomes ready for wallpapering the walls. Such preparation will allow you to perfectly glue the wallpaper, make a normal joining of the canvases, and also, during subsequent repairs when removing the wallpaper from such walls, pasting with new wallpaper without additional repair of the walls. In a situation where it is decided to paint the walls, after a 2-layer application of the polymer putty, in order to achieve an ideal surface, it is advisable to apply another layer with a fine dispersion putty. To apply the finishing layer of putty, I personally use ready-made putties, the so-called pastes, which are an ideally balanced material. It is convenient to apply such a paste, it has an ideal consistency for work. And with a sufficient level of skill, the application of such a paste can be done without global subsequent surface grinding. A finely dispersed putty will allow you to close absolutely all pores and transitions, after drying of which, the surface becomes absolutely smooth and perfect, ready for painting even with a roller with a very fine nap. Let me finish with this: do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Good luck to everyone and see you soon.